This is Valley News Live at 6.
The cleanup continues after that severe storm Saturday afternoon that left damage and messes scattered everywhere.
But who is responsible if certain items blown around end up damaging your property? Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with insurance agents today who say the answer might surprise you.
They just fly down the street and they're lethal.
As wind speeds reached almost 80 miles an hour in Saturday evening's storm, it was trampolines gone wild around the valley.
It's going to happen, yeah. It doesn't even have to be a storm, you're right. And those things are like kites when they get a good wind.
And once the storm blew over, many found their homes and vehicles damaged. But whether it was the neighbor's tree or their trampoline that caused the broken windows, Tom Tavit with Moorhead Insurance says you're the one that's going to have to pay.
Because what caused the loss was not the trampoline, it was the wind.
He says it doesn't even really matter if the trampoline was secured or not. He says in order for it to be your neighbor who foots the bill, there has to be intent.
They should do their diligence and make sure that they've done the best possible that they can to make sure that that trampoline doesn't go flying away. But even if it does go flying away, it still was not their intention to have it happen. What really caused that to happen was the wind.
Tavit says the same rule goes for trees, fences, and anything else that might blow around and cause some damage, adding that wind and hail are about 75% of the claims they see every year.
Fires don't happen that often, but just these wind, hail, these summer storms, they wreak havoc. We got a lot of claims on those.
Mike, Andrea, I want you to take a look at this quick. This is just one of the dozens of fences that is still out for the count over 48 hours now after that storm swept through the area. Now, I'm in the Bluemont Lakes area right now, but as you just heard Tom Tavit say, luckily, this fence didn't cause any damage to any of the neighbors' homes or their vehicles. But just as you heard Tom Tavit say, now, even if it did cause damage to the neighbors, these homeowners aren't the ones that have to pay. It's actually the neighbors that have to pay. And that's something that they'll have to figure out with their insurance. But Tavit did say that if you want to figure out a way to get a little bit more compensated, you can try and take your case to small claims court. However, he did say after attorney's fees and legal's fees, he's not really sure how much you'd actually get out of that. Reporting live in South Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
All right, thanks, Bailey, for the live report.
Several other homeowners are dealing with the aftermath of Saturday's storm. The work will be continuing for a few days to come. One viewer sent us these pictures of a tree going through their ceiling. Also, neighbors on 9th Street South had their trampoline trampled by a felled tree.
I was just really thankful that my kids were not playing outside at that point because it had been just really still and the wind it was just in a couple of minutes. It was crazy windy outside and stuff was blowing around all over the place.
Fargo Public Works says, just like last winter, the storm was rougher than we've seen in some time.
Saturday's storm certainly left marks on many parts of the FM area. Here's some of the damage along University Drive south of 35th Avenue. Cleanup crews say wreckage around town is significant. About a dozen workers put in overtime on Saturday and Sunday. The city is asking for some patience, saying it will take some time to clean everything up.
There's damage to trees that we don't even really know about yet. There aren't noticeable right off the bat here. But generally after a windstorm like this, you kind of chase broken limbs periodically throughout the rest of the year.
Although trampolines and trash cans went for rides, a lot of owners have been able to find what was lost. If you are missing a trash can, you can call Public Works and they will replace it. Another warm day with a few clouds out there. Is there anything we need to worry about this evening? Here's Hutch with your no-wait weather. Hutch?
All right, Andrea, there are a few showers that are in the southernmost Otter Tail County showing up on the radar. It's been a little cloudier there and therefore cooler in our far southern counties. The rest of us very quiet. Severe storms rumbling through parts of southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, and we're monitoring storms in Montana that are heading in our general direction, but they are a long ways away. Temperatures will be in the very comfortable 80s and 70s with mostly clear skies here in the Fargo area. Grand Forks likewise. There will be a chance of some of those Montana storms rumbling their way into our area as we go through the early morning hours. I'll have hour-by-hour details on that, and we'll talk about that forecast for the 4th of July holiday here in just a few moments.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
Bond has been set for the North Dakota State University director accused of sexually assaulting a teenager. 45-year-old Viet Doan is charged with 2 counts of sexual assault after being accused of touching a minor in Bismarck. The Moorhead man is the director of Enrollment Management Administrative Systems at NDSU and has since been put on administrative leave. A judge ordered a promise to appear agreement, no contact with the victim, and Doan must remain in Minnesota or North Dakota.
4th of July weekend is right around the corner, and that means many people will be headed to the lakes. To help keep everyone safe, the Minnesota DNR and other authorities will be ramping up patrols to crack down on drunken boaters. The initiative, called Operation Dry Water, kicks off on Friday across the state. According to the DNR, in 2018, alcohol was a factor in half of the deadly boating accidents in Minnesota.
Efforts are underway to put the question of recreational pot on the ballot again in North Dakota. Supporters are planning on submitting a new ballot measure to the Secretary of State's office in the coming weeks. Legalize ND put a similar measure on the ballot in 2018. It failed in the midterm election by nearly 20 points. The group says the new version addresses the concerns of ambiguity from over a year ago.
We feel optimistic, and we think that it's a great bill. It's clearly not the bill that everyone on the legalization side would want, 100%. It doesn't get us everything we want, but I think it's the most passable thing we can create, and that's the key here.
Regulations include banning homegrown marijuana to advertising to children, as well as requiring child-proof locks for containing. More than 13,000 signatures would be needed to get the question on the ballot in 2020.
Police are reminding you about pet safety during the summer months. In Fargo alone, authorities say they have responded to 37 welfare checks on animals left in vehicles. Officials say the average temperature in June was 85 degrees, with the highest day being 95 and the lowest at 66. In 3 incidents, animals were removed from vehicles, resulting in 1 citation and 1 criminal report. Police say it doesn't take long for the inside of a vehicle to get hot, even if the windows are cracked, it's cloudy, or the vehicle is parked in the shade. They say never leave your animal in your vehicle without running the air conditioning. And if you do this, make sure the vehicle is locked so that no one drives away with your pet.
Locations and dates have been announced for this year's Project Safe Send in North Dakota. Anyone can drop off old, unusable, or banned pesticides, including herbicides, insecticides, and fungicides. Products will be shipped out of the state, and it's free to the public. Collections will run from 8 in the morning until noon all over the state throughout the month of July. People with more than 1,000 pounds of pesticides should pre-register a week before delivery, and a maximum of 2,000 pounds of pesticides per participant will be accepted. For more information about drop-off locations, go to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, a couple of fish stories, one involving a possible world record, the other involving an unwanted species.
Today's high temperature in Fargo, 83 degrees, a degree better in Grand Forks. Now, tonight, not such a good thunderstorm chance, but tomorrow, a better idea of storms. Some could be strong. I'll have details in your hour-by-hour forecast next.